Don't allow others to affect you in a way to now you become the person that did you dirty. Hi guys, welcome back to this channel. I am Darian. Today I want to do a video to talk about how your enemies will cause you to elevate. I personally have been on my own elevation journey, and there's so many different things that I have just found along this journey, discovered about myself, discovered about the people around me. And this one I feel like is something that people should know. One thing I have noticed is that either right before or right at a pivotal time, when it's time for me to elevate, I have been betrayed, and it has pretty much always caught me off guard. Now that I am where I'm at, it's easier for me to kind of catch on to things and see how things are gonna go as far as the relationships in my life and things like that. But this is just something that seems to be a pattern that I have seen in life. And so you more than likely may be able to attest to this for your own life, or if not, maybe this is something that can help you if you do ever find yourself going through elevation and finding that this is happening. So your enemies will be used to elevate you. And the sad part about it is a lot of the times your enemies will actually be friends. Your enemies will be people that you have known, that you more than likely have loved, spent a lot of time around. It could even be your family. At this point in my life, I don't put nothing past anybody, but your enemies usually are somebody who has been in close proximity to you. And what better way to betray somebody than to be in their close circle, than to be in a space where you can get a lot of information on them so you know which way to cross them. Okay? I'm not trying to give nobody ideas, but I'm trying to help you to understand. I don't even know if it's the mindset of an enemy or the mindset of how somebody may betray you or why somebody may betray you. I think sometimes we get shocked that the people closest to us are the ones that may become our enemies, are the ones that may betray us. But if you think about it, it makes more sense. Most random strangers are not just out here trying to betray people. They don't know you. So yes, be mindful that your enemies more than likely are going to be people that are close around you. Now, at one point in my time, I was very naive. I have always been this very pure-hearted person. And so I used to always think enemies, hearing all this stuff, I don't have no enemies. There's no reason for me to have enemies. I'm nice to people, and I don't really have problems with people. Oh, but baby, when I started elevating, baby, when I started growing, baby, when life shifted and I started going another way, things started to change. And then I started to see things, and then I had to shift in my mindset. And I do believe that God will allow things to happen so that you can come out of certain spaces of naivety, so that you can have a true view of what is really happening in life and not live in, sometimes we put ourselves in bubbles, we believe certain ideas or things because it feels good. It makes us feel protected, whether it's emotionally or whatever it is. And so that's kind of how I was. I never imagined that I would have enemies. I never imagined that there would be a day where I'm literally quoting that God will prepare a table in the presence of my enemies. But one thing I do know is that God will work it all for your good. And one of those ways is allowing whatever has happened to elevate you to the next level. Now, am I saying that every time you elevate, you have to be betrayed or go through something drastic or crazy? No, I'm not saying that. But there are some times in life where you will be going into elevation and you may notice that a betrayal may come or new enemies may come. So look at it as a spiritual thing. Don't look at it as, this is not to be dramaful or anything like that. This is genuinely something that you're going to have to be spiritually in tune to pick up what is happening. Or maybe you'll be able to look back at situations and be like, oh, that's what this was, or this happened. So I actually want to reference this scripturally, because I feel like when I read about this scripturally, this is what awakened the revelation in me to a greater place of your enemies actually being used to elevate you. There is scripture where God is telling Jesus that, sit right here, watch while I make your enemies your footstool. And so when I had read this at a season in my life, I was like, footstool. A footstool, when I think of the footstool that I use in today's time, I step on it. It lifts me up to do things. It helps me to reach for what I'm trying to reach for, to grab what I need. It lifts me up to that next level. And so when I read that, it just like clicked for me, even though I had already noticed, after I had been betrayed or whatever, had enemies or whatever, and moved on with my life, I did actually feel lighter and better and seemed to get to a newer place. But reading that is just like something just awakened and clicked for me. Sometimes God will allow people to do certain things, not because he wants to hurt you. Yes, he wants your eyes to be open to see the truth of what is in the hearts of the people around you. Yes, he wants you to grow out of naive mindsets and just believing that all people are good, like I used to believe, or that, flowers and roses and rainbows and, Skittles. Life is not always like that, and people are not always like that. So yes, he does want you to come out of naive mindsets, and sometimes the only way for you to do that is to actually be betrayed, is to actually see how people really are. It doesn't matter what they claim, who they claim they serve, who they are. People are people, and hearts can change at any moment. And yes, he wants you to get to the next level. And sometimes you won't get to the next level because the people that are in your life are going to hold you back. But you don't have the courage to walk away. You don't have the courage to say, we've had a great time together, but it's time for me to do what I got to do to move forward. And if you're not going to help me, you can't go along with me. And I'm not saying you need to just like cut people off and diss both of them, but if it is stopping you from growth, usually if they're stopping you from growth and don't want to see you elevated, it's from a not good place. It's from a negative place. That could be from sabotage, jealousy, envy. So there's good reason for you to move forward. But if they're helping you on a journey and they're truly a good friend, truly a good person in your life, obviously there's no reason to just be cutting good people out of your life. Hopefully they'll help you on the journey. But there are cases where there are people who are not going to help you get to the next level. They don't care about you getting to the next level. It has nothing to do with them. It doesn't matter how long you have known them. They don't care. They are not interested in helping you to elevate. And it could be because they are not ready yet to elevate. They don't see themselves going to the next level. And so you cannot count on other people to help you get to the next level. But I do believe that God will allow whatever is in those people's heart against you, because a lot of times people hide how they really feel about other people. Whatever is in those people's hearts, I do believe that God will allow that person to cause that to manifest in whatever way, whether it's trying to sabotage you from something, whether it's trying to take something from you, but whatever the betrayal may be, to cause a person to be considered an enemy in your life. Because if that person never actually shows this true action in this moment, you may never leave that person alone. And you will continue to, more than likely, most people are going to continue to try to take people with them to the next level. But if that person were to go with you to an even higher level, the betrayal could have been 10 times worse than what it would have been at this point. So when I was in my feelings and mad and going to God, like, why did this happen? You know, why were they allowed to do this and this and that? And I got through the processing of it all and got to the next seasons of my life. I started to realize this is why this needed to happen, because if I would have brought this person or these people with me at this new place, it would not have been good. I look back and I see they weren't even happy for me in this space. They weren't really helping me or trying to be of benefit to me in this space. If I would have took them here, they couldn't even handle it here. So if I would have took them here, it would not have been good. So let's move further into your enemies actually being a source to help you to elevation. So I personally, on my own journey, I'm speaking from my life experience now, I wasn't really elevated at a season in my life, and it wasn't until certain betrayals happened that I started to realize, oh, I don't deserve this. I need to love myself. I need to treat myself like I matter. Somebody just did something really nasty to me. Something that if I would have done that same thing to them, it would not have been good. And why do I feel like I have to keep this person in my life? Now, I absolutely do believe in forgiveness. I do not believe that forgiveness has to mean that we continue on the friendship, connection, whatever it is. But forgiveness frees you from the inside. You're not harboring that negative experience in your heart, because that starts to weigh down on you. And something that helps is to just realize that at some point you're going to be disappointed by everyone if they're around you long enough in life. So you have to understand that there is no perfect person. Now, there are some things that should be non-negotiables and unacceptable for you to tolerate in your life, and you have to decide what that is. You have to decide what your level of this is too much for your own life. But it has really helped me on the journey of forgiving others, because when you forgive, it helps you to stay light and free and not bogged down by the negative emotions and feelings and not becoming bitter and things like that. And it's a process. If somebody is trying to make you feel bad because maybe you feel like you're struggling and forgiving or moving forward, don't allow anyone to make you feel condemned or bad. Forgiveness is absolutely a process. Some people are able to do it quicker than others, but don't feel bad about your experience in life. Just do your best every day. Try to do your best. And depending on what has happened to you, some people have had some really bad things happen to them. That if maybe someone took a shirt out of your closet, a friend took a shirt out of your closet, and that's whatever. That's different from somebody trying to set you up, to get you out of here. Those are two completely different situations, and the process of forgiveness for those two situations may look completely different depending on the person and, what exactly somebody was trying to do to you. But anyway, after certain betrayals, I realized wow, I deserve better. And it actually pushed me, the brokenness from the hurt and betrayals actually pushed me into working on myself, going into my own journey of self-love and self-discovery and finding out who I am and growing as a woman and growing in my knowledge. And it actually pushed me closer to God. Interestingly enough, betrayals have actually pushed me closer to God. Especially if you Lord, I need you to defend me now. I need you to handle these situations. Because people have tried to come after me when my heart towards them have been pure. And that's all of those different things started to happen to elevate me, to take me to the next level. I started to think why do I have certain people in my life? What are they benefiting me? And in me getting out those certain people and certain negative things out of my life, it allowed me to start to see myself differently and go to the next level. And then it just turned into this big road of elevation. If I would have never gone through the betrayals that I have gone through, I truly do believe that I would not be the person that I am today. I'm not saying that you should want to be betrayed or look for betrayals, or I'm not saying it's a good thing at all. Yes, betrayal hurts, it disappoints, but in me going through those situations, I have been able to become a better person, a stronger person. Now, I'm not saying that this is what everybody will do, that after betrayal that they will allow it to make them a better person. Obviously, that is the good thing that you want to happen. That is a positive thing that you want to happen. But we all have a choice. You can go one way or the other. So you can allow the things that have happened to you to influence you. Either way, it is your life. You get to decide. But I'm saying that, and me taking the time to actually just sit through the pain, sit through what was happening to me, learn from it, and move forward, that is where I was able to eventually find benefit. Now, at first, it didn't feel like that. At first, it feels like someone is getting over on you. It feels like, But again, once I allowed myself to go through the process and everything, I started to realize that the things that happened to me, nobody in a good place would have done that. Nobody with a good heart would have done that to another person just willingly. It started to allow me to open my eyes to see people differently. When people are broken, when people are battling certain things, it makes it easier for them, not saying that it's right, but it makes it easier for them to do certain things to people. So it kind of actually opened up this, I guess, door of compassion a little bit. I'm not saying that we just, allow things to just happen, but it allowed me to start to see people a little differently. When you are in a good place, when you are doing well, when your heart is right, it's harder to do certain things to people. And so you can take that how you take that and run with it, whichever way you want to run. You may be like, whatever, I hear you, but whatever. But I was able to actually learn from those betrayals. Now let's get into something that is like my favorite part. The part where you enter the blessings because of what you have endured. Let's get into that. I know firsthand that it is not fun to wait. It is not fun to wait on God to avenge you. It's not fun to wait on God to step in and handle the situation. But as I have matured and grown, I have realized we want to get our lick back right away. We want things to be worked out right away because we feel like justice was not served, or we feel like something was done wrongly to us. But this is the thing about learning to allow life to be life. Let's say you did what was done to you. That may not affect that person the same way. But in your mind, you may think, oh, let me go do this. Let me handle this. But when you allow life to be life, because one thing I have found is that you will reap what you sow, even if it doesn't come back right away. Somebody who wants to do dirty to you will end up reaping what they sow. We don't know people's hearts, minds, thoughts, lives. Of course, if they share it to us, that's one thing. But we don't always know the things that would allow a person to feel remorseful or feel like, dang, I shouldn't have done that, or feel like, that was messed up. Let me go. Even if they don't apologize, we don't always know that thing that will affect another person. Yes, in the heat of everything, it may feel good to try to go back and do the same thing or whatever you feel like you may have planned. But if you really sit back and think about it, all that does is add fuel to the fire, and it also now puts you in a space to where Now you've done something to somebody, so you're going to have to now reap the consequences of that, reap what you sow from that. But I have found, even though it may hurt, it may be painful after betrayal or certain things are done to you, when you let life be life, work on your emotions, work on everything, when them tables start to turn, when you start being blessed because of your heart and you chose after whatever was done to you to not get back in the same way, let them say what they have to say, let them feel justified in what they do, let them be prideful and feel like they got away. There comes a day where justice will be served if you will allow life to be life. Again, it may not happen overnight. It probably won't happen when you want it to happen, because at the same time, God still wants you to keep your heart right, because that's going to help you to be abundantly blessed when you keep your heart right. Okay? And let him be the judge of a good heart, because everybody think their heart is good. I just be having fun. I like having real raw conversations, but I have seen in my life when them blessings start to come in, when they start to see, oh, they thought they got you then, but now you're elevated to this next level and they want to be attached again. They want to come back again. They want to be a part of the blessings. They realize that they played themselves, and them trying to play you, they played themselves because they were trying to rush to do this or stop you from having this. They played themselves. When you start to see how things actually pan out in life, it makes it easier to just rest in the place of, okay, okay, okay. Again, you go through your emotional, whatever you have to go through, heal, but don't allow what others do to you affect your life. Don't allow others to affect you in a way to now you become the person that did you dirty. All right, you guys, this is the last thing that I want to talk about, because this has happened to me so many times. I, again, have been one of these people that has tried my best to be good-hearted to the people that come into my life. Now, I know I am an awesome friend. I am an awesome friend. If you're really locked in with me, I try to be a good friend to others. But I recall these seasons of my life where I was still very not really realizing how valuable my own personal time and resources are. Just because I can do this for somebody, just because I'm gifted to help them in this way, does not mean that I have to help them in this way. I had to learn to stop exerting so much time and energy on other people who are just there to collect. They're just there to take. I had a season of my life where I went through betrayal after betrayal after betrayal after betrayal. And at some point it was like, okay, what's going on? What did I do, for this to just come my way? And it was at a time where, well, I'm still focusing on being the best me, but this was at a time where I was locked in, fully focused on becoming a better person. And so I didn't understand, again, that elevation period. Elevating, you more than likely will experience some kind of betrayal, or even if it's not like this big betrayal, people, changing, turning, no longer wanting to be your friend and now because you're at this new place or whatever the case may be, and maybe they feel like you're better than them now or whatever. But what I'm saying is, at that time, it was just confusing to me. Like, I could see if I was, my worst self or really doing bad things, but I couldn't understand why I was receiving certain treatment. And at the same time, these same people, it's like they knew they were wrong, but of course, they're not going to be like, yeah, I'm wrong in this or that. Most people are not going to be accountable for the things that they do to you. And so even with weird encounters, I've always been the type of person that was like, okay, let me move on, mind my business, and just go for it with life. And I found that a lot of the people that have done me wrong, I will just be out and about, minding my business, and those people will be there. And I will be like, God, what's going on? Why, of all the places, of all the times, why are these people? And it's like at different times, people that are not even connected. And it's not like I've seen these people at these places before. And these are places that I frequent. And it was always at like random times. I can even recall a time I went to a random grocery store. It's not my usual grocery store. I park right next to somebody who was using me, basically did me dirty. And when I called them out, disappeared, nothing. Acting like I was the one that was, I guess, the problem. Pull up right next to them, not even thinking. They get out of the car, I get out of the car, and then I realize, oh, this is somebody that betrayed me. But I'm like, I'm already out the car. I didn't do nothing to them, so I'm going to continue walking behind them. They see me, and their eyes got so big, and they just like kept going in the store or whatever. So I just went in the front of the store. I just needed to I think I was grabbing fruit or something. Because a girl has been working on some things. The fruit area was like right in the front. And then I go straight to the register. I'm at the register so I can see if somebody goes to the register. I don't even see the person go through the register or nothing. So at this point, I'm like, that's weird. But I like check out and leave. I get to my car. Their car is completely gone. Like I didn't even see them leave. And so people know when they do you wrong. People know when they have messed up. Just because they don't apologize and say anything back to you does not mean that you have to fight them and harp on it and all these things. Let people be, and again, let life play itself out. Okay, and now that I think about it, this same person, even with the things that I was helping them out and did for them, and them trying to use me, I remember a time this same person, one day we're out at a place and everything's all cool. We're hanging out and everything. The next day of the event, acted like they didn't even know me now that their own people were with them. And so I'm like, but when they saw me at the store, it's like that conviction they couldn't take. They knew that they were wrong. They had whatever inside of them to cause them to react that way. But anyway, back to the point that I was talking about. It's been a few times that I've been out in public and people that have betrayed me have been out. And it's like, why? Why is this happening? But then I start to realize, like, you don't know what God is doing in that. Maybe God is allowing them to see you to say, hey, I need you to fix that heart. I need you to take some accountability to what you have done to them. And maybe it is a case of them being given mercy to change their ways, change their hearts, because maybe God is trying to say, hey, I'm trying to spare you from some stuff, but if you don't want to change, then if they don't, who knows what happens? That's none of my business. That's not for me to, I guess, dissect and try to figure out. But it could have been a case of that. It could just be a case of simply them just seeing you at a new place. You're not that same person that you were when they did what they did to you. And I think sometimes we can forget that. Like, once you have moved on and you have elevated and I know I look better. And it's not all about looks and things, but what you just, like, visibly, you can see an elevation on you. I believe that there is a purpose in God allowing these encounters to happen. And it was like so, not even random. It's just so like how, of all the people in the world, of all the times that I've been out and about, never happened. And with some people, it's been like continuous, not continuous like all the time, but it's like it'll happen. And so it's like there is a reason for some things in life. And people love to quote, he prepared a table for me in the presence of my enemies. And I know sometimes when things are done to you, you may want to run and just Even if you're on your forgiveness thing, like I'm one of those people, I can forgive you, but just stay away from me. Like once you cross me in a certain way, it's nothing else for us to talk about. If it's nothing to do with, helping you from a life and death situation, stay away from me. But sometimes they have to see you because the table is being prepared in front of them. Sometimes they have to see that, wow, this person has gotten better and I wasn't around. So I'm not the cause of who they are. Sometimes these things have to happen. You may have seen that person, or that person may have seen you, so that they can see they didn't actually win against you. They didn't actually stop you from going to where you're going. They didn't actually break you to a point where they wanted to break you. So I hope that encourages you and just helps you to see that sometimes the worst of things can bring some beautiful good things. I know betrayal doesn't feel good and it doesn't seem beautiful, but sometimes to get to that better version of yourself, that elevated version of yourself, you may have to go through a betrayal. And I don't want to say have to, saying that it had to happen. They just had to do it to you. They chose to do it to you. But in that, find the blessing. In that, find why this needed to happen so that you can get to the next level. And once you get to the next level, just use better discernment, or better discern the people that you allow into your life. So I hope you have a great day. I thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.